Hi everyone, I'm Nicola from Elimee Designs and welcome to episode 10 of our video blog. So I've got a few things to show you this month, some things that will be coming out in the near future, some projects that I've been working on, a few plans that I have kind of in the off. It's been a bit of a month. It was Easter last week and we decided to allow our girls to have chocolate for breakfast, try to be nice parents and not always be the mean parents, which went down really well, except then every day they were asking for chocolate for breakfast, and that has not stopped yet, even though we're a fair few days since Easter Sunday. So fingers crossed they snap out of that habit fairly soon. We also had a chance to meet up with some family and do some activities that were very reminiscent of my own childhood. So part of my family is from Germany, and not every year would go for Easter, but every year we'd travel to Germany to see them. When it coincided with Easter, that was a particularly special event for us. Aside from, the baskets of chocolates and things that you'd get from family members, the day before Easter, we would actually sit the whole family around the kitchen table. Alma would be sat at the stove, boiling lots of eggs, and we'd all be sat dyeing eggs. Now, the complexity of the dyeing would vary as to whether you were just kind of rolling it around or pouring dye constantly over the egg, or whether you were painting them or kind of had like the gloves with the paint on and you were tossing it about in your hands when it was still really hot. But we all got involved in some way or another. And then the next day on Easter Sunday, we'd all go out into the garden and hunt for all of the eggs that we had decorated. So being able to do some of that with my own kids this year, I think they were finally big enough to enjoy it, was really, really nice. And I even messaged some photos to my brother of us doing it, going, "Do you remember this?" And he seems to have some fond memories of that time too. So moving on to what I have achieved this month. First things first, apologies, I don't have it in front of me, but I will stick a photo on the screen for you to see, is I did finish my Mother's Day gift. So that was the Aphrodite cushion cover in grey and white for my mum. She picked the pattern, she picked the yarn, as you know from previous episodes. I will say though, I didn't quite finish it in time for Mother's Day. For various reasons though, we ended up postponing our meetup for Mother's Day. So I did actually finish it before she arrived. However, as you will see from the photo that I have popped on the screen, I only finished it the night before she came, which meant that my husband didn't have time to take any pretty photos of it, which means that you have to deal with my let's just say shoddy camera work. Hopefully you won't judge me too harshly. So I made it out of the Stylecraft Special Aran in silver and white, which were the colours that she picked. And hopefully when we go to visit her next weekend, I will see it in pride of place on her sofa, but we shall see. Okay, so other things that I don't have to hand, just a quick run through. So I did manage to finish my Secret Santa gifts in time. I managed to get the extra yarn to finish them off, to post them before the deadline of the end of March. And I have seen them posted on our Facebook group, so I know that they've been received and seem to be appreciated, so that was really nice. And I have one pattern that I have finished and is currently in testing that will come out on the start of May, 1st of May I think I am, as part of a blog hop, but I'm not going to share that one today. I am going to share a few other things that I've been working on though. So first up, I mentioned last time how I was going to make my daughters a pair of Humphreys for Easter weekend. Now the Humphrey pattern is from Hukanori, and I have made their Franken egg at Halloween. Go back to the November episode if you want to see that one. And I was planning to make one for my eldest, one for my middle child, and obviously nothing for the little one. Yeah, bad mummy didn't quite finish in time. So I have one finished Humphrey and one that's in progress. However, on a really, really sweet note, Deb, who runs Hukanori, after she saw my episode, very kindly reached out and sent me a kit to make one of the Humphreys, so to make a rainbow version. She sent me the deluxe kit, which has not only the yarn and the pattern in it, but loads of extra goodies, from a crochet hook to stitch marker to lots of stickers. There was so much stuff in it. I'll either put a quick clip in here so that you can see it, or put it as a separate video and link to it, but I'll show you all of the amazing stuff that she sent me. It was very, very sweet of her. So because I was waiting for that to arrive, I did start the other one first, and yes, I can crochet the parts, but the assembly, I'm still a bit lacking in that finesse, so please ignore my construction skills, shall we say. And here is the one that was ready for Easter. So I did purposefully make the limbs odd, so that they're kind of opposites in terms of where the stripes are, which my daughter noticed and appreciated. So this one went to my eldest, although technically I said it's a shared gift until the other one is finished. Deb did kindly send me a spare pair of eyes because I don't do a lot of Amie, so I didn't have any safety eyes to hand. Oh, it's been a bit squashed and sat on. Sorry, you can kind of mould it back into shape. So I made this with yarn from my stash. So I'm on a bit of a stash busting, whatever you want to call it at the moment. So this is hot pink, which I made her wrist warmers from, gosh, not last Christmas, the Christmas before, I think. And this is sunshine yellow, which I used in the Colour Crush blanket. I did manage to get some imitation of a smile, but as you probably saw in my Franken egg, again, facial features aren't my speciality, just like assembly, so it doesn't quite look symmetrical. And I also have yet to learn how to do jogless stripes, so you can see the jogging colours on the back. But I will eventually learn these things, I promise, she says. We know what I'm like. So even though I'm doing finished objects, I will show you the other Humphrey now, seeing as we're already on Humphrey. And this is as far as I've got. So I'm maybe like 30-40% of the way through the body portion. No limbs, lots of dangling ends, but this, if I can untangle it, so I'm still attached to the next yarn, is the really cute Hukanori stitch marker that comes with it. Oh, I don't think I can get it to go in focus. I'll put a photo on so you can actually see what it looks like, but that is what part of what comes with the kit, so that is really, really cute. Now, this is where I'm going to consult the pre-printed copy of the pattern that she sent with the kit to consult the colour list, because if I don't buy the yarn, I'm terrible at remembering the colours. So I do have a bit of all of the colours on there already. So the red, so these are all Stylecraft Special DK, sorry. The red is Matador, the orange is Jaffa, kind of like a Jaffa cake I assume. The yellow is Sunshine, the green is Grass Green, the lighter blue is Turquoise, the medium blue is Empire, the purple is Proper Purple, because what other kind of purple would there be? And the dark blue is Lapis. So, fingers crossed that I managed to finish this and give it to my daughters before the next episode. So I'm sure the middle child will steal this one because she's not as big a fan of pink, very much loves rainbows. So wish me luck. Okay. Oh, and yes, the bag that I'm using to hold my project in also came with the kit. Okay, the next thing that I have finished, and I say finished in a very loose kind of way because technically there's unwoven ends. There's only two unwoven ends, so you know, does that count as finished still? Or did it be nice to me? So this is just a sample square that I did, but I wanted to show you. So this, I did the corner to corner moss stitch. So maybe I should hold it that way so it looks a bit more like moss stitch. So it's made in Stylecraft Special Aran in cream, again, just because it's what I had in my stash. And I made this because I was going to submit a pattern to a designer call that was shared in my co-working group, and I wanted to work out whether I could actually fit the pattern that I had in my head onto the square, given that this was the background stitch that I wanted to use. Unfortunately, I wasn't selected, so I haven't made the actual square. This is how big the square would have been, so it would have been 8 inches. However, given that I actually quite like the square that I designed, I might make it into a blanket or something and then share it with you guys. So bear with me, given that I've got a few other projects on the go. I will come back to this one. So yeah, remember that one. So the next finished one, again, has a little bit of a story. So again, it's just a blanket square. So as you might have seen, I'm currently taking part in the Here Comes Treble blanket blog hop, which I designed the Salem square for that I showed you last time. That's still ongoing, but this is for a similar collaborative cowl or blog hop or whatever you want to call it later this year. I think it is a bit more of a cowl because this one is being released, I think it's 1 square a week, so that you do actually have time to crochet them. Although with the Here Comes Treble blanket, it only took me about 20 minutes to make the square, so you could do it as a cowl. And this is my square. Now the theme is houseplants, and I had a bit of problems with my colour choices, so I do have another version started. So just ignore the colours that I've used on this one. So I decided to make a Chinese evergreen plant leaf. Now, I was having a bit of a baby brain moment because, if I just hold it up here so you can see it, the lighter colour is supposed to be on the veins and the darker colour the main bit of the leaf, hence why I'm making another one. But equally, after I made it, I wasn't as happy with my colour choices. So this darker colour here, which is supposed to represent the sort of stem bit, so they're all Starcraft Special DK. This one is Cypress. I'm going to use as the background colour. I'm then going to use this lighter colour, the Sage, as the veins. And then I'm going to replace the stem, not with this colour, which is called Lincoln, because I just decided it doesn't suit the other two greens. I'm going to find another darker green to go down here. May or may not manage to get that in the Starcraft range, because I did try and get coordinating colours when I ordered them. But I did order online, so I couldn't actually hold them together. So that'll teach me for not going to my yarn shop. And then I've just used a cream background just to try and make it pop. So hopefully you like my square. It is currently out for testing, so if I manage to upload this video in time, the testicle for the kind of general group will go out, I want to say tomorrow, but I'm not sure when I will upload this, hopefully tomorrow. So if you see the testicle and you'd like to try this square, just fill out the form and let me know. So let's move that one over there as well. Next we have a few whips. So my first whip in my lovely Lovecrafts project bag, one of the few project bags that I actually own. Now I apologise in advance, I haven't got very far. Shh. So I don't know if you saw, I think I put it in my stories and after my newsletter, I was recently provided with a free copy of a crochet pattern book targeting men, well, not targeting men, with patterns for men, that's probably a better description. And I agreed that I would make one of the patterns because my husband doesn't get a lot of things that are just for him, that are actually made for men. So I've started it, you know, I'm going to make it. I will get there. I just, because I've got a few deadlines with other projects at the moment, I'm just, the next whip actually is the last very soon deadline. So once I finish that, we'll be able to work more on this. So this does not look like much of anything at the moment, does it? So it's literally like 2 and a tiny bit rows of what will be a hat. So this is the Maxwell beanie, designed by Michelle Ferguson. I'll link the book underneath so you can take a look at all of the other patterns. So there's a total of 12 patterns in her book. There's a mixture of hats, scarves, and then sort of jumpers, sweaters, cardigans, pullovers, hoodies, like top half of men stuff, whatever you want to call them for wherever you are in the world. So I'm making the Maxwell beanie because he found that one was his favourite. And then I can't remember the name of the jumper that he wanted me to make, but I will be making that as well. And this has currently got a really cute stitch marker on it. Oh, hold on, if I can get it to stop spinning. It's got a little tree on it. I don't know how well in focus that is because it's moving. I do not remember where I got that one from. It's in one of the previous videos. I will try and hunt it down and actually link it below, but apologies if I don't manage that. And because I didn't have anything in my stash for this, well, at least that he liked, he got to pick out some new yarn. So this lovely blue is the Rowan Baby Cash Soft Merino. Here's the little label that it came in. And it is, here we go, 57% wool, 33% acrylic and 10% cashmere. And this is a 4-ply. That's what the pattern asked for, and unfortunately all of my 4-ply colours were either very sock-like, so it's kind of self-striping, or very girly colours that he didn't like. So unsurprisingly, he asked if he could pick out his own yarn. My project bag actually, in this one, because I took this to one of my daughter's hospital appointments, although I didn't get to sit around for very long after I arrived, given the nightmare parking. I thought I'd have a few minutes to come up with some future pattern ideas. So I had nipped into Tesco's and bought myself a Big Ideas, but it's actually quite a small book, to do some scribbles in. So that now lives in my project bag for when the appropriate moment arrives that I'm out and about and get an idea. So I have one more whip that I'm going to share. I do have a few other whips that I'm not sharing just because I'm not ready. I want you to have a few surprises, so I can't show you every design I'm working on. And again, I'm trying to stash bust. So if you will remember, I made a version of the Mariposa butterfly blanket with this yarn. So this is rose and cream baby yarn from Aldi. I think America has Aldi as well, or is it that an American company bought Aldi? I'm not sure. But they do kind of yarny, crafty special buy weeks a couple of times a year. This I bought a few years ago, but I believe they do still do these colours. They're not always available online, but when they do the events, they quite often have plenty of baby yarn. So these were the colours I used for that blanket, and I had a lot left, even though I tried to use up quite a bit, but I still had so much left. And again, trying to stash bust at the moment, so I decided for an upcoming blog hop that I'm taking part in that I would try and use up my baby yarn. So it's very kind of chenille-esque, and this is as far as I've got. So if I hold it up, it does actually have a bottom there, and you can see I'm not quite finished yet. This one does not have a pretty stitch marker, sorry. And I've got the other ball inside because I am trying to reduce the number of ends. Gosh, without telling this inside out, I'm not sure how well I can show this. I'm just pulling up the next colour. Oh, can't show that very well, can I? There you go. So that I have fewer ends. So the only time I have ends at the moment, like here, is where I've swapped balls of yarn. Because I'm stash busting, a lot of it was in small balls, bar though I've saved the biggest balls for last. So any ends are just where I switched over the scrappy balls. Now this is going to be, she says, drum roll. Oh gosh, you can see where I've been colour changing. As I said, I've not yet mastered the jogless stripes. This is going to be a draft excluder. So this was an idea that I had over the winter. I live in... excuse my husband coughing, he's got a cold. I don't live in a really old house, but it's a reasonable age. I think it was built in the 1930s. So it does have a few drafts. So I thought doing a draft excluder would be really nice. But given as when I came up with this idea, we were coming kind of out of winter, I decided I'd put it on the back burner for next winter. However, A, I wanted to stash bust. B, the weather's turned cold again, at least here in the UK where I am. And C, the blog hop that I wanted to participate in was asking for softies. So basically things that are stuffed. Given that I don't make amigurumi and I didn't at that time want to make a cushion, I decided that a draft excluder would be really nice, because aside from stash busting my yarn, cough, 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 need to give them a cough drop. I'm also going to use my jar of ends to help stuff it. So if you go onto the My Crochet Toolbox blog post, there's actually a photo of that. I might try and see if I can put it in the video. And equally, because I do some sewing, I have at least one Kallax box size, at least one Kallax box, I should say, full of scraps that are too small, in my opinion, to make anything nice out of. And these aren't things that I can put into like a crumb quilt or something, because they're not cotton. I've been using my cotton scraps for other things, things that are going to get heat applied to them. This is more like my jersey, my, oh my gosh, baby brain, what's it called? Scuba, there we go. So my jersey, my scuba, you know, all of those kind of more synthetic-y things that don't like to have lots of heat put on them. And I'm going to hopefully get most, if not all, of the box in here. It's not quite long enough yet, so I have made it quite wide, because I'm assuming that when I stuff it, it will become shorter because it's going to become fatter. We shall see how that goes. I don't have very long to finish this and get it tested before the deadline, so wish me luck. Oh no, my stitch marker's come out. Oh gosh, because I yanked on it. I have to find that. So I'm aiming to make mine 30 inches long, just so it covers my whole doorway. So obviously it depends on the size of your doorway as to how long you'd make them, and how wide your taste is, and whether you want a round end or a flat end. I've gone for a flat end, but let me know what you think of that one. And if you do want to get the pattern for free as part of the blog hop, oh gosh, I forgot I'm still attached. then I will link the Facebook group that you need to join, where the launch of the pattern will be where the pattern will be launched. Oh, I'm really struggling with my words today. We've all had a cold or have a cold at the moment, which means that the baby's not sleeping, which means I'm not sleeping, which means that my baby brain is like 10 times worse than normal. So I'm keeping that project because I don't have any really big project bags at the moment. The lovely Disney princess bag that my grandmother gave me because it's super cute. I just have to stop my daughter from stealing it constantly. So that is the last whip that I wanted to share, but I did want to just talk about a few other things. So firstly, I have picked the pattern that I'm going to make my project slow crochet Christmas jumper from. So I've decided to make the Marzana sweater, which is by Tinderbox. Again, I'll just put a link below. I haven't got permission to put a photo up, so I'll put the link and then you can go have a look at it. It's not a traditionally like super festive jumper in terms of, you know, it doesn't have like a snowman or a reindeer or something on it, but the picture that she shows, I think, looks fairly festive just because of the colours that she's used. And so I'm hoping to use probably similar colours, probably some shade of blue. However, I do need your help with yarn selection. So the pattern calls for a DK weight yarn, and they have used Superwash Merino, and they've used a Lion brand version that is not the easiest to get hold of in the UK, and I really don't want to sit and work out whether or not it's worth bringing over because of the import taxes. So I'm looking for a UK alternative to the Lion brand yarn. So if there's something that you have used that has been nice and soft, cozy for a jumper, because this is aiming for Christmas wear, then do let me know. The next thing is that my daughter, my eldest daughter, has been trying to learn to crochet. It's super cute, and it's really, really nice to be able to attempt to teach her. So my attempts met with not the best success because of trying to, she can hold the hook, she can hold the project, but then trying to hold the yarn to keep some tension in it at the same time, she found really difficult. She's nearly 6, but I appreciate that apparently knitting is easier to pick up at this age than crochet. However, one of the lovely ladies in my co-working group actually teaches kids how to crochet as part of, you know, her business, and she's made some videos on YouTube, and my daughter watched her video, and I didn't manage to locate it in time to add it to this recording. I'll see if I can find it and take a quick picture. She managed to do a short chain and do her first row of single crochet. Now, admittedly, she still needed a little bit of help as to where to stick the hook, because she was struggling to differentiate it, perhaps because I chose quite a dark colour of yarn, just because it's what I had lying around, because she recommended starting with something really chunky. But she uses a different method, so a loop over method, where they don't have to hold on to that bit of yarn. They don't have to, you know, worry so much about tension. So I'm really, really, really hoping that she likes crocheting and will become a crocheter going forwards. But yeah, we shall keep our eyes peeled and see what she comes up with. But the next thing that I wanted to mention is that, as I mentioned, I don't have many... got yarn everywhere. I don't have many project bags. The ones that I do have, like this one, are kind of small to medium sized. I don't have anything really big. I don't have anything really small for like socks. And in general, I could just use a few more. So I've decided to sew up some project bags. And in the spirit of, well, I'm destashing at the moment in terms of trying to use up some of the yarn I have around the house, make a bit of space, but also, you know, save myself a bit of money while I'm on maternity leave. I'm trying to destash on the fabric side as well, and even better, for the first set I'm going to show you, I'm trying to do some upcycling. So I don't think I haven't got it to hand. I will hopefully again put a photo up of the last project bag I made. So that was the first one I ever made, which the bottom was upcycled from a pair of jeans, and the top, which was a cotton fabric that I added some interfacing to, was some cotton poplin that I had made a dress from. Added a zip, and that was it. I use it all the time. It's currently my favourite bag, probably because it's the only one I've made, compared to, you know, the other ones that I've ended up with for various reasons. So I'm going to start with making a similar one to that, though perhaps a different style, but similar in terms of a bit of denim, a bit of cotton. So I grabbed these from the box of my husband's jeans that don't fit anymore, that need upcycling. So that will be the main fabric. And then for my contrast fabric, I have this. So this is a skirt. Excuse the fact that it's not ironed, because it's been in my 2 upcycle box. Now, I bought this when I was a teenager. very light summery skirt. So again, it will need a bit of interfacing to stiffen it up to be a decent project bag rather than it flopping over everywhere. But there's plenty of it. And unfortunately, since I've had children, given that I'm not that careful with my diet and I'm not great with the regular exercise, yes, I should be better at that, I know. It doesn't fit anymore, and it hasn't fitted since I had my eldest, who's nearly 6. So I figured it's time to go. So I'm going to use that as my contrast. Let me know what you think of it. I'm going to make a few more as well, but I haven't picked out all of the fabrics from the stash yet. Or more garments for upcycling, which will be even better. So I shall show you my progress next time, she says, hopefully, fingers crossed. But that's your lot for today. So thank you for watching. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know in the comments below. And until next time, happy crocheting!